Ladies and gentlemen, every now and again, someone has an innovative idea that is so profound that it redefines the way that their field is thought and talked about. In the sciences, we've got people like Galileo, Newton, Darwin, Einstein. For guitar players, we've got people like Hendrix or more recently Marcin. For sports people, we've got, I don't really know. I make videos about Palworld. You know I don't watch too many sports. But in Palworld, there is Valley. And Valley has discovered something about Palworld's building mechanics that is so foundational, it is going to change the way that we think about building and what its limits are. And in today's video, I'm going to show you what that is. But before we get right into it, remember, if you guys enjoy this content and you want to keep seeing more like it, like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps support the channel a lot. So Palworld's building system is designed such that it requires you to place a supporting structure, being either a foundation piece or a pillar, every 2 tiles apart, or you're not going to be able to extend your build any further. However, this only applies at the lowest level of your build, which we're going to call the base level. And in addition to that, we've also known for the longest time that you can build structures that look like this, where you establish your ground level and then you can raise your build towards the sky with walls or pillars, and then you can extend your upper tiles all the way out over that foundation, because the foundation and the roof are considered connected by the pillar, which is snapped to the foundation at the base level, and therefore the entire upper story is considered as supported by the foundation below it, despite there being no additional pillars every 2 tiles apart. However, what Valley discovered was that the pillars do not actually need to be snapped together to be considered as connected. Instead, they only need to be positioned within a small enough proximity, and as long as you're within that proximity, the game will treat them as though they are connected and thereby transfer support from the ground level to the upper levels, like in the example we saw before where everything was snapped together. So for example, you can see here that I've got one central pillar system, and if you look closely, you'll notice that each of these pillars is rotated a little bit compared to the one underneath it, and therefore it isn't snapped to it. And yet despite that, I can still build out from this top pillar in a direction that is not parallel to the foundation at the base, and it is still supported. And you can do this at each different rotation to start developing some really cool shapes. Now for many of you, this might not seem like a big deal, but for build enthusiasts like me, you're gonna know that this changes everything, because this means that we're finally free from Palworld's laborious grid system. Now, I should also point out here that it has been known for a while that the pillars do allow for building rounded structures. We've been able to do the rotating stuff for a little while, but until Valley, at least as far as I'm aware, the question had always remained, how do you support those various angles above one another without running into overlap issues or without having to build entire networks of foundational scaffolding that is just going to ruin the aesthetic of a build? And that question was solved with this discovery. However, there is one key question that I'm still yet to answer, and that is, how do we actually stack our pillars in such a way that is rotated? Now, if you simply want to achieve this with any old angle and you're not too worried about being precise, then you can do it by creating a simple platform like the one that you're seeing here, and then you need to delete this central pillar and replace it with a rotated one. And then from there, you can build outwards from the new rotation and place an outer pillar, which will be a temporary angle holder, and then you can just repeat this process at new angles and build upwards. But if you do want to be more precise, well then not only did Valley and their team discover the proximity mechanic, they also developed an amazing methodology for controlling your angles at different increments of 5 degrees. However, I'm not going to spoil that one here. If you want to see how that's done, you're going to have to head over to their channel and check it out yourself. I'll leave a link to the channel and their guide in the description down below. They deserve all of the credit for figuring this stuff out. I'm just relaying the message for you guys. So go and check them out. I'm going to leave it there. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time. Have a good one.